Hello, I'm Scott from the Vegan Fitness Guru, and I'm going to go through a little slideshow of how much protein you need as a vegan. So it does vary slightly from if you're eating animals, so I'm going to go through how much and why. So this is a little picture of me, looking all veiny. Okay, so we'll start with what is the current science on protein recommendations for bodybuilding. So most studies show no benefit beyond 1.6 grams per kilogram at the moment, but that's in 99% of the scenarios, so unless you're just about to go into a bodybuilding competition, that's about how much you'd need. But you've got to assume that studies that they did on this involved some kind of animal protein, if not a lot of it. So you've got to ask the question, is plant protein equivalent to animal protein? So let's have a look. So the first thing we're going to look at is leucine and branched chain amino acids. So these are the main amino acids involved in building muscle, and they generally tend to be higher in animal foods. In order to get the same amount of BCAAs, you have to eat more plants. How much more? So here's a little table of all the BCAA contents in lots of different sources. So you can see skimmed milk and egg whites are very high in BCAAs. So if you think about it, 100 grams of protein from any of these sources would have 23 grams of BCAAs in skimmed milk and 17 grams in oats. So the plant proteins, you can see a lot of them have quite a lot lower levels of BCAAs, the important muscle building proteins. So we can kind of generalize a bit and say that the carnivore diet of meat and eggs and dairy and some plants works out to be about 20% of BCAAs. So it goes from kind of 23 down to 17 in steak. And they would be having a bit of plants as well, so let's say about 20% on average. And then a vegan diet would be about 16%. So if you're having some from peanut butter, but also some from tofu and beans, then probably average out about 16 roughly. So then we can work out the factor of how much more BCAAs are in the carnivore diet, and it's about 1.25. In order to get the same amount of BCAAs as a vegan, you need about 25% more total protein to get the same amount. So what's 25% more? So going back to the original suggestion of 1.6 grams per kilogram, times that by 1.25, you get 2 grams per kilogram. So that's how much vegans need in order to get the same amount of BCAAs at the right amount of protein. So what else do we need to look at? So the next thing is digestibility. So some proteins don't digest as well as others. This is probably down to the fibre content of the proteins. So things like legumes have a lot of fibre in them, and fibre can block the digestion or block the absorption of some nutrients, including protein. So beans and legumes, lentils, chickpeas, that kind of thing, are very high in fibre. So the fibre tends to block a little bit of the protein from being absorbed. So it's about 10% of the protein in these foods tends to not be absorbed. As you can see from the in vivo, in life, they're the main ones you want to look at. So actually in either people or rats. As you can see, the pinto bean actually gets absorbed about 20% less than the higher ones, kind of the sausage or the casein or whatever. The grains tend to be about the same. Kidney beans a little bit less, chickpeas a bit less, so about 10% less for legumes on average, let's say. Then say half the protein in your diet is from legumes. So if you're a vegan, you're probably going to be eating a lot of legumes in order to get enough protein. So let's say half the protein in your total diet is from legumes, just for simplicity. So if there's a 10% reduction in absorption of the protein in legumes, and half your diet is legumes, then that's a 5% total reduction in absorption. So add on that 5% in order to make up for the lack of absorption, and it increases again slightly to 2.1. So we've got the 1.25, the factor for increasing because of the BCA content, and then the 1.05, so the extra 5% for the digestibility, and we've got 2.1. So in summary, we've got the plant protein with low BCA content, so you have to eat more to get the same amount of BCAs, and also lower digestibility, so just eat a bit more to make up for it, and it's all good. So about 2.1 grams per kilogram should be enough. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.